this is a Science Mystic, and I'm here getting to know the lovely Jah Crystal. She is a renowned musician, a herbalist, professional herbalist in skincare, and a spiritual guide, and she has been helping guide the lives of many women. And I just wanted to sit down with her and have a discussion
And men too.
on and men as well, um, on her spiritual journey. She's been guiding them and helping them, and just getting to know what it's like being on this entrepreneurial path as an Afro woman, being in the field that's not so logistical, but mainly, right brained, mainly expression based, mainly in the realms of feeling. How you got your or I would say pretty much found your journey, found your path as just being who you are as a spiritual guide, a musician, and a professional herbalist. So I'm really happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here. And I appreciate you inviting me and doing this interview. I think it's very important that we do reach out and we do express who we are and why we do what we do. So to start answering some of your questions, so first and foremost, I have ventured on many paths, and we've come to understand the vibration of the word path as to be a road, but not really one that is a complete journey, but one that is designed to teach lessons, one that's designed to create adversity and be that mountain or that hill that you need to climb or overcome, however you need to see it. So I've been on many paths, and all of those paths brought me to my ultimate journey.
So paths would be for you, as you explained, paths is much so just like life lessons.
Yes, life lessons, and they can be elevating, and they're supposed to be elevating depending on how you receive them. But expect drama, expect destruction, expect some walls to be torn down, expect some adversity for you to face on these paths. And the main adversity is us. Each our own, because we tend to look outward a lot at this happened to me, all this is to me, and we never stop to really look within to say really what's going on within me. That's the ultimate adversity is right within us, and overcoming that spiritual entity that needs to be removed from our being, that never should have been there, but somehow got attached to us coming into this world, and we just need to remove it, cleanse, and those paths help us to see it. They're supposed to help us see it.
So I know the first place that you came to along your journey was finding music as an Afro-Black woman. How did that kind of guide you along your journey and shift and shape who you are, along your journey?
That's a really good question, and you're actually the first person that's actually taken the time to actually ask me that. Oh yeah, my word for today is actually. You might hear me say that a lot. So I was born singing. I was born with a gift of music. It is a spiritual gift. It was a form of communication for me. It was as if I was marked with it, so that it was, and I want to say that again, it was as if I was marked with it. So the reality is that it was a part of my soul entity, my who I am. And from the time I was able to hum, speak a sound, speak a word, that's how I was communicating with the spiritual realm, with my own being, and with anyone around me. It was just through song. I can still remember that, and it's hard for someone to fathom that type of memory. But between the age of birth and 3 years old, but particularly around the age of 3, I can remember still in the back of my cerebral cortex just the images of, it was as if I was watching my own being, like the sounds would echo and I could feel me and see me at the same time. I was that young, and understand what was being said to me, and the songs, which never made any sense to anyone around me at the time, my family, my siblings, but they made they were very clear to me.
So the songs that you heard, they were, like internal, like dream, like kind of like songs that would come to you, or songs that you would hear out, like living life?
I'm gonna say 50-50. 50-50. 50% were songs that were coming to me, that were internal from my spiritual reception, and then 50% was, I had a very musical family as well. They love music. My dad's a musician as well as other elders in my family, and so music was always played as well. And that's one thing that is really great about music. It is one of the highest forms of spiritual communication, and there's so many messages that are sent through them. So many vessels allow their beings to be used, in which people write songs and they're just like, it just came to me and it's just so beautiful, and they're singing it and they're hoping that someone hears it, because they too understand that this is a message that someone needs to receive. So that's what's happening. It's spiritual messages, and so you can have it elevating people, and you can also have it damning people at the same time, or degrading people. Music can go in both of those directions, and we hear and see that every day.
So what pivoted you into singing and writing music to spread your message? So I guess, what was that message that you were looking to spread through your music?
So what pivoted me to start spreading a message was, I had begun, officially and unofficially begun, spiritual training. It was between the age of 10 and 12, and I had some events occur to me at that time that really really hit my aura in a damaging way. And as a child, my feelings are hurt, my emotions are hurt, my body is hurt, my mind is hurt. But really, what was happening, my soul was hurt. And then here I am, I'm reaching out to the same spiritual entities that I've been communicating with since I got here, and there's one that rose up to the occasion and said, "We need you." And so it was time for me to start learning, and so that pivoted everything, because it became a learning tool. It became I began writing in order to understand what was happening within and around me.
Wow, that's amazing. So, man, I really resonate with that, because music for me has always been something that has taken me to, or is capable of taking me to, those places of elevation and lifting a kind of dense weights that I feel sometimes on my heart or on my soul, especially
Yes.
when I'm going out into the world and I see certain things happening, and music can really be that thing that lifts that weight off of me and allows me to be free in that sense. So that's amazing that
Music is very healing. It's very healing, and it has the ability to link the networks that are happening within you. Let me explain it. The electrical networks that are happening within you, within your mind, physically, within your brain, you can see the electricity between the nerves, the central nervous system, the sound, the vibrations of them, and the vibrations. And so let's talk about that really quick. The sound, the vibrations of the sounds is one, and it is very important, and it's very, very powerful, and it helps to stimulate the neural channels within our body physically, so that we can retain information, retain physical memories, retain those type of things, but also to enhance and also receive spiritual information. It's the electricity is still moving. The vibrations, now when you attach words, whether you're singing them along with the melody, or it's a poem or a rhyme sung in key, or spoken in key, such as spoken word music, it carries a vibration as well. So the words are just as powerful, become just as powerful as the sound. So even when you're speaking, the way, the tone, and the sound of a word can enhance the power of a word or degrade it.
The tone of voice, the tone of...
Yes.
You know.
So the vibrations of the words are just as important, and that's why I stress within my spiritual work, and as well as in all that I do, how we speak is important. The words we choose to use, and to start, if you're old enough, to me, once you're past 7, you're old enough to really start understanding how the vibration of words work, and to start shifting. If you've been taught wrong, then you can shift. The older you get, the struggle becomes real, because you're removing all of these lies from your speech.
Yeah, and I think even
And
when
they're
we're
programmed in.
younger, I mean younger than 7, because I can remember when I was young, I mean, I felt like I recognized tones way more than I recognized anything, any word that might have came out of your mouth. Like I could hear somebody ask somebody if they could get me a toy, and they'd be like, yeah, and I'm just like feeling iffy about it. Like I don't know if they're really gonna get me the toy, just because of the way they said it.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about that one.
So, so your music guided you and ultimately led you to be, on your spiritual path and get more in touch with that higher place within your life. And so when it comes to your herbs, your apothecary, and making formulas for skin, for, ailments, whatever it may be, how does that tie into that higher level, that higher place of existing, that message,
Because you're allowing your being to be elevated. And with elevation, you're going to come face to face with information that you're going to have to make movements. And you're either going to go left or you're going to go right. Okay? You can go up or you can remain where you are. You're going to have some beings that still have lessons to learn, so they're going to freeze you can call it a fear, but it's a fear based on uncertainty because of the pre-programming of having to have information on every single thing that's about to happen. So you get the, oh, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. Oh my God. Because your uncertainty stops you and blocks you. And that becomes a hindrance to your growth. We have to start trusting that our spirits are filled with the how. And I'm going to stress that word because how is a very powerful word. And I had one of my spiritual guides explain that to me very well. That the vibration of the word questions and answers at the same time. So when you say how, you are giving acknowledgement to a power that exists, be it in the vibration of a name, the vibration of song, sound, being, whatever it is, the how is the answer at the same time. So when the time comes to move forward and you're unable to see the how, so how do I do this? And it stops you from taking the first step. You have to start trusting yourself and just say, oh, if I've come to this level and the step is there for me to take, the how is already there.
Kind of like when
the
people
door
say,
or the door is open.
Kind of like when people say, when there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, but the will.
Not saying that the will is the how, the
will,
same way of looking at it.
Will and wheel, they're very close. So we're just gonna. But yes, when there's a will, there's a way. When you see a door that's open, people, well, I don't see anything. It's just space. Like, you have to trust that there's something in that room because you're done. So children are very good at this because children learn from these virtual games. Well, if they're playing the right ones, because there are some terrible virtual games out there. But there are these, I call all games virtual games, but they're arcade games, whatever they want to call them, video games. And they complete a level. They've mastered it, they've learned it, boom. And they're ready to go to the next level. Can you actually see what's on the level before you get on that level? No, but I'm going to speak from my experience. Mario Brothers, I think, is the last game I've ever played back in the 80s. But Luigi or whoever he is, or Mario, has to walk through a door. Is he questioning, like, oh my God, no, I'm not walking through that door because I don't know what's on that other side.
Ready for browser. Yeah, no, that's true.
He just goes through the door and he's ready. And so that's what that's what music helped me to start trusting, to just go through the door and be free with it. And as I did that, I found that I was still on other paths, just like Mario did, where I had lessons to learn, things to master, but it brought me increased knowledge. It showed each level just opened up my soul being to me and put pieces of the puzzle together of my memories so that they can make sense and not be scattered about as to where all of this information is coming from. Because we come here, the average being that's born into this world is born what some spiritualists would say DOA, or sleepwalkers. DOA meaning dead on arrival, which is a terrible thing to say, and I hate saying that. So, but I've heard it said. But I like to use the term still asleep. You're alive yet your soul is sleeping. And some spiritualists think babies come in very wide-eyed and open.
Yeah.
So it just depends on
All
the
chakras lit.
All chakras lit. And then they're dimmed as they get older due to the program. So it depends on the baby, depends on the child. And so when I say that because every being is unique, and everyone has their soul tribe. So you're going to have some spiritual babies born that are like, okay, teach me everything because I don't know nothing. But then you're going to find these babies that come in and they're like lit already. They're like, nothing new.
I know how to tie my shoes already. I know how to brush my teeth. You ain't even got to show me how to feed myself. I just pick up the
they
spoon.
figure it out and they're like, oh yeah, I remember. And then you have these babies that I relate to totally because this is how I came in. They come in speaking knowledge because the memories are still there from whence they came and from also being here before. And I call those some call them old souls, but I call them primordial souls. And I call them primordial souls because they're the originals. They are the originals of our terras. And of this earth, which is a terra, and it's
So when you say original primordial soul of this earth, can you, so for someone who maybe just be starting out on their spiritual journey or maybe just beginning on their soul journey, how can you explain that to someone who's just beginning when it comes to a primordial soul? Like, what is a primordial soul?
I'll just start off with it being as simple as I can, and that primordial means original or origin. It's like, okay, origin. Original origin. So origin means source. So when I say primordial souls, meaning your source is of the terras. So Earth is a terra. You have other terras within the universe, and you're going to have primordial souls that are returning to Earth again through the vessel or portal of their ancestral lineage, their DNA lineage. And that's important because you need to have that DNA lineage in order to create your primordial body, physically speaking.
So what does a typical primordial physical embodiment look like? A third dimensional, physical, tangible. What does that look like? Could it be anything, anyone, or does it?
Well, in this modern era, in the realm we're in now, because of everything that's been going on, truthfully, primordial souls can be in any physical vessel. Some vessels can be avatars. Some vessels can be humanoids, but they're usually, when they're in those, it's sort of an entrapment, and they're seeking a way out. So those type of beings, they'll seek a primordial vessel to link with, to join with in marriage and union, to procreate, in order to bring back souls within that primordial DNA. Because having the DNA is important. It strengthens the spiritual communication.
Mm-hmm.
It
You
is.
know,
It's
it's
truly a
wonderful.
wonderful experience.
No,
And,
it is a lot of spiritual information that, you know, a lot of people crave, honestly. A lot of people crave it. And, you know,
but those paths is what brought me to where I am now. So that's how I entered into, I want to say, professional herbalism instead of just being a family kind of like just playing around, as if you're just playing around with the herbs, or this is just something we do at home. It brought me into incorporating it professionally, medicinally, into my entire being, my life, and my family's, because I felt that it was important once I started seeing the links between the plants and our spiritual beings and our bodies as well, and in the spiritual auras of plants as well. So with that same musical communication that I was experiencing, I started experiencing with plants as well, feeling the vibrations, seeing the auras, just within the names alone, whether it was a Latin name or a common name or a patois name, they would resonate vibrations that I would be able to pick up and say, oh, I understand what that plant is capable of doing and why it's here. And then just learning as well from family, growing up, that being second nature to our existence, because with my elders, my great-grandparents and grandparents, they had a lot of that information because they were unable to go to hospitals and doctors on a regular. So you had to have apothecary in your home to some extent, or a neighborhood apothecarist, someone who in the community was the herbal lady or the healing woman. Your mama, the neighborhood mama, was that helped everyone, or the baba.
So with the herbs and tapping into that sphere of healing, how did that put you in a place to where you're like, okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take my music, I'm gonna take, you know, these parts of me, and I'm going to now be a spiritual guide for people who are looking for that spiritual guidance?
And in all honesty, that never happened. That never happened. I never sat down and said that, not one day. It started to unfold. What I did sit down and I said was, who I am and what I do were two different things. And that is so many beings' duality in life. What you do to live and explore and make a means and receive income can be totally different from who you are. And it starts to kind of weigh on you. I started seeking balance. That was the first thing that I can remember, was that I started literally, physically, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, on every thought pattern in realm of existence and level of being, I started seeking balance. And I would always ask myself, when I was doing something, now would I do this? Is this something I would tell me to come and do? Is this something I would tell me to come and purchase, or tell me to come and take, or have my children in? Because I was a teacher too. Would I have my children come to this school?
Mm-hmm.
And many times it was no, indeed. And I saw, and you see that duality even in faculty.
Mm-hmm.
Their children, a lot of the teachers, their children never attend those schools. If you're at a school where the faculty's children attend as well, your children are at a good school. That's a reality. That's a reality. So likewise, if you're selling a product, if you are a doctor, physician, if you are a musician, we have many musicians who perform songs they never would write. They have to put on an act just to be a musician or entertainer. It's not even their real persona. So you have a duality. So you're being untrue to your soul. And that, in a long run, will hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Over time. It will damage.
Going against
You're going against the grain. It will damage your soul existence. And that's just something I realized would affect me, not just spiritually, but physically. Because your spiritual body is linked, should be linked to your physical body. And for many beings, that's just for various reasons. That's a non-existent factor. No links exist. So yes, I everything I started to do, I wanted to make sure that it was something that I was doing as well. So that when I present something to someone, it's coming from my heart and soul. I'm teaching you and I'm giving you guidance based on who I am and what I do. So when you look at me and you say, wow, oh my gosh, you're always glowing. You always seem to move with ease. How is it that you look so young and so vibrant? And I'm a grandma. That shocks people. Every time I open my mouth and say that, it shocks me too. But it's just a joy because I decided to listen to the angels, to the spirit talking. And even though many times they showed me the paths that I would take, and I could see the sorrow, I could see it, and it would sadden me. I remember once or twice, if I can think back clearly, I would see the vision, and I would literally, just like that TV show, That's So Raven, I would attempt to go in a different direction and stop it. Because I was like, no. Right?
The vision and be like, hold up. And then you end up making it happen.
And then it happened anyway, and I would just shudder, and I would cry, and I would feel so awful because I would think that I've done something totally wrong. And the reality is that I was doing everything right. And sometimes doing what's right is going to hurt. Sometimes telling the truth is going to hurt. Sometimes following your soul purpose is going to be opposite of what everyone else is doing. And you can hear all the negativity and all the adversity in your family or environmental people that surround you. And you're going to have to either put up your bubble shield and keep moving forward. But it's hard when you really love people because you want them to be, you want them to be a part of your life. You want to share. But every time you share, it becomes a problem. So you decide, I have to walk these paths alone. I have to do this alone and by myself. And it becomes a feeling of isolated journey, but you will, as you move along, and once you reach your final path and enter your journey, you will call upon your soul tribe. You will call upon the beings that are there for you and are supposed to be there for you. Now, it might be just one. Because in reality, that's all you really need. It might be only a few. Never expect a flock of millions of people. So
I can't expect a million people to like be my tribe, be in my tribe.
You can.
What if I want a million people in my
You can expect millions of beings to listen and want to hear and want to learn. But what I'm speaking about,
authentically,
I'm speaking about your personal family,
close-knit,
that you will share your very existence with.
Okay. And so on an intimate level.
On an intimate level, non-sexual. Want to put that out there because we tend to put sex on everything.
Well, sexual is just kind of, there's a stigma attached to it, and that's why people feel so weird about the word intimate.
No, intimate is a very good word. Intimate. But what I'm saying is the act of procreating. Sex, the act of procreating. So that's why I said non-sexual,
So
physically bringing forth
right,
a life,
okay, yeah, like
child.
you're not doing that with a million people, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Right.
So that's what I wanted to just throw out there. Because we really, I may be venturing off the whole journey, but I want to just cap off what I just said about non-sexual is that we've lost in this age that we're in now, we have lost our sense of intimacy that involves the spirit, the mind, the soul. We need, that is really the foundation of our existence and our being. And everything has become so physical, which brings us to those who are elevated to see that it's just the abundance of low vibrating energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that keeps people thinking with their natural reproductive organs, and not to create life with them, but just to get a physical high off of them. So you become addicted to a feeling, then you want to attach the word love to it, like love is a feeling, and now you have love being low vibrating, and then you just breed out a whole,
which would then take away from the power of the word, right?
It makes it null and void. Because love it never is a feeling, it's an entity. And it is one with the source. And when I say it's an entity, it is it's an attribute, an entity that is an attribute or attributable entity. I think I'm saying those words wrong, but
entity was good.
Love is who you are, or should be, or have a desire to be, depending on who are you, what's in your spiritual, what from your soul is creating your spiritual body. And so the soul is one with the source, and the soul, if your source is filled with these beautiful entities, and you lack love, just like the ancient text was placed into the Christian Bible, if you lack love, then all of those attributes are empty. Because love is the entity that creates. Let me say that again. Love is the entity. I had to change my voice because I can feel it falling and getting heavy. When I get to start speaking heavy thoughts, my voice get heavy, and I want to keep it light.
Yes, lightness.
Love creates beauty. Love creates justice. Love creates wisdom. Love is the source that creates. And you can have knowledge, you can have wisdom, you can have all of this, you can even have beauty, but you lack love. And then then your attributes of what you have are empty and without source, without a foundation. And then that's when you have the discord, the disharmony, and the disease. Because without a source, you will end up doing anything. And you will call it righteous. You will call it beauty. And it's not.
And most people don't even, I don't say most people, but it'll be hard for them to even see the discord. If they even see it at all.
It is very hard to see the discord when you're in the discord. Something has to knock you to get you 1 millimeter out just to look and say, oh my gosh, something's wrong. You got to be able to see it. You got to be able to look outside to see that this is wrong.
Or rock bottom. Because some people hit rock bottom.
Everything falls away from you.
And they like, oh snap.
Yeah. Or just what everything falls away from you. And that's the truth in terms of why we have so many issues. And I'm speaking individuals, not groups of people, not races, because that's another thing in your elevation. You come to understand that all that's an illusion. Race is an illusion. The nationalities, all of these things are an illusion. Once you begin to see the spiritual mindset of the origins, you can move outside of what's been created to get you looking at only these low vibrating entities instead of seeing the high vibrations of spirituality. What is spirituality? It is the knowledge of your universal celestial existence. That's what it is. And when you start to see that, spirituality isn't so far-fetched. Religion becomes very concrete, and angels and God stop being a figment of your imagination and become a physical reality of life.
Wow. That's very powerful. And I'm sure that you have touched someone, or not touched someone, but gotten into the hearts of all the people watching this right now.
I hope so. It's my pleasure to do, and it brings joy to my heart. And I love hearing the angels sing. So
we love hearing the angels sing.
I love hearing the angels sing. So when I speak, when I preach, and someone is being touched, whether it's a physical being or a spiritual being, because spiritual beings are all around us as well. And when I say spiritual, I mean beings that are still in their spiritual bodies, to just not in a physical body, or even virtual beings that are having a virtual experience here with us, but are not physical, but lack the physical body at the moment because they're somewhere else right now.
So if you could tell our viewers anything, if you could give them a message right now, your main tip in embarking on your soul journey, what is that one message?
One message?
Yeah, like a sentence. If you could sum it all up and give someone that great place to start in their spiritual journey, where would they start?
They need to start by letting go of beliefs. That was how I started, and that was the hardest thing that I had ever experienced, because the word itself was throwing me off. Because I grew up thinking that believe was a real word. And as a teenager, for an angel to say, you got to let go of your beliefs. We understand this is what mom and dad believed, and this is what the world believes, but that's not real. And I keep looking at the word belief, so I got caught up on the word belief.
So
belief, the definition of it means faith in something that has the ability to change. So that is a very good definition, because that is actually one of my definitions of being an element. We have the ability to change, and we have faith within our beings. But that is actually, as I grew up, the incorrect definition of the word believe. Belief is actually a compound word. And if you separate it, you have be and leaf. And they both have a source. Be, we understand that is to exist. And then leaf, the vibration of that word and sound means to be removed. So you remove your being when you believe in something. And that is why it is important when you're beginning your soul journey to let
yourself,
go.
like we were
You're going
earlier.
against your own being. Let go of your beliefs and embrace faith in who you are as a spiritual being first and foremost. So when you let go of beliefs, I'm not talking just about religious beliefs, because like there's good in all evil. That's a patois saying. It sounds horrible, because like, how is there good and evil, right? But when I'm speaking about the manifestations of the illnesses that exist are really designed to teach you. So the lesson is the good. Learn the lesson, move forward, and let all that go.
So let it all go.
When you're starting your soul journey, you're going to have to learn to let go of beliefs, religious beliefs, social beliefs, social norms, what you believe how a relationship
should be,
what are,
and exploring
the beliefs in marriage.
Exploring
that's set up.
you, right? Just exploring.
Yeah, you got to let go of the physical. And that was, I'm being honest when I say that was something that was hard for me, because I did need to let go of the physical in terms of wanting to have, when I was younger, I wanted to have a relationship. I wanted to date. I wanted to go out. And then I had these visions, and I was like, okay, I don't want to do that, because I don't want any of that stuff to happen. So I wanted to let go of all of that, but I had to go on the path. So it happened to me anyway. I'm letting go of it, and they were just coming in my face at that time. So, but letting go of what's been ingrained in you, so that you can really analyze you. And it's hard to analyze you when you have other distractions, or when you have someone else that's feeding off of you, or you're feeding off of them. So I remember having sessions, now that I go back, where I had to say to a certain individual, you need to leave relationships alone right now. And they're looking at me like, oh God, I can't be alone. So therein is now we're starting to get to the problem. You're afraid of your own being.
Mm-hmm. So when just being one with yourself.
If you're afraid to be alone,
like
unable to be alone.
I know that my life path number in numerology is a 7, and the 7 represents, like, forms different places of isolation. 7's like to be alone, not isolate. Sometimes it can be isolation in a bad way, but being alone and in their own zen allows them to be closer to, as they say, God, but they're really just getting to know everything around them and inside of them. So yeah, I agree, that is essential, and that is a great place to start in your
It's a great place to start
journey, instead of like going through all of these other avenues and then getting to you.
Yeah.
And then you end up realizing what was all that other stuff.
Start with you.
And yeah, so that is powerful, and I am really, really grateful that you came.
Gratitude and blessings.
Have this discussion with me and share your vision, share your insight and timeless wisdom with my viewers. So we really appreciate you, and we love you. Thank you. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this. If you have not already, go down to the link below, click on Mystique Botanical Wellness, go visit the website.
The website is actually Melanated Psychic Woman, which Mystique Botanical Wellness is on there. It's featured.
Okay, so Melanated Psychic Woman, I apologize. Melanated Psychic Woman, it used to be Mystique Botanical Wellness, so I'm not crazy. But Melanated Psychic Woman.
Well, they could type onto that and they'll go directly to just the herbal page of where they can shop and purchase herbs.
Okay,
but if they want the whole package, then they'll go to Melanated Psychic Woman, where they can see the whole package of everything.
Okay, great. So Melanated Psychic Woman and Mystique Botanical Wellness. Click on the links below. Make sure you check out the website. Look at the herbs. Look at the packages, the spiritual guidance, the messages, the crystal messages. It's all there, and it is there for you to, help and
we also
embark on. Go ahead.
Finish what you were saying first. I'm sorry. Embark on.
You already cut me off. Go ahead.
Well, just to interject slightly, when you started speaking about the crystal messages, there is a community which we just formed this summer, the end of this summer, and it's called the Sacred Psychic Soul Community, Sacred Psychic Souls Community, and it's on Patreon, and you can also find that link on Melanated Psychic Woman under the psychic link when you're viewing the website.
So it is patreon.com, Sacred Psychic Souls. Click the link below. You've got plenty of places to go from this video. So go ahead and check that out as well if you are ready to not just start on your psychic journey, but
start your soul journey.
If you not just start, but you're ready to pivot. I mean, there is
shift, pivot,
5
elevate,
different tiers available
to a higher level
to help you
existence
and bring you to where you're looking to be. So yeah, I'm not gonna pull you guys too much longer. So thank you again for watching. This is Jah Crystal and a side mystic, and we'll see you guys next time.